2. Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. We're all in a good mood around here this week. Ravens at 1-0, and of course looking great down in Miami. And the Arizona Cardinals coming in. You can find all of our conversations in the buyatoyota.com audio vault about all things previewing the game. Part of our Purple preview is getting out on the road. I'll tell you, we've done some live shows. We're going to be getting together with Nick Boyle 2 weeks from now up at Adams Jeep. And I am going to be wearing the purple sweater on Purple Friday. Kind of weird. Friday the 13th. I'm going to be in Timonium. Hope you stop by and say hello. I will be at Curio Wellness from 3 until 5 in the Education Center up in front. Brian Sanderoff is going to have plenty of vitamin D for me because he says that's the key to eternal life. And he is the poobah of all things at Curio Wellness, CurioWellness.com. We'll be up there from 3 until 5. This is my sort of first event with you, and I've done all sorts of things over 30 years of sitting in front of places and behind places and with athletes and doing radio and sometimes even singing songs and having friends strum the guitar. I'm coming out to hang out with you. I don't even know what we're doing besides eating a cupcakes and just sitting around and hanging out and talking some football and learning about things. But I know you've got an itinerary plan for me, Professor, don't you?
We do. We're excited to have you here with us. There's a pop-up that's happening from one of the manufacturers that we sell as well, and so hopefully it's going to be a festive time. It's the Friday before the home opener, which is always exciting, and we've got some special giveaways that we had made up specifically for this event, and all during the season, we offer a Purple Friday sort of special. And so we have discounts on anything that is purple within the store. So there's a strain that's called Purple Punch. People can get a good discount on that on those Fridays. But also this year, we're expanding it such that if people wear their Curio Purple Friday shirt on Friday, they'll get an additional 5% off of anything that they're ordering in the front, in the back, anywhere.
See, now you tell me this, and I wore my Curio hat, and I'm wearing my Nasty Bitch shirt, and you don't even get, this is a guitar pick, so Nasty Bitch was the band in vinyl. So, people ask me, why I wear the Nasty Bitch shirt. It's just kind of a funny thing, and but I will be wearing my Curio Purple, and I need to get a bigger size. I told you that.
We got that for you.
Somehow I shrunk in the closet. I'm not sure what's going on there, but so when people come, if they stop by on Friday, you have a whole classroom setting that I've been in. I attended your Medical Cannabis 101. My wife's a 2-time cancer survivor. We watch Sanjay Gupta on CNN as well, and learning is part of the whole journey for everything. I sat at an educational conference all day Tuesday about housing affordability in schools in Howard County where they're redistricting and learning about things. So I'm learning about all sorts of things. I know for you, education's been the biggest part of all of this from your days as a pharmacist and being a holistic specialist to now we're at CBD and all this. And then there's the vape thing that happens, right? So the lead story all week long is vape, vape, vape. And I'm like, I knew that this sort of thing would be coming up as the laws change, as the laws have changed since we blinked, literally, in the last 5 years in our state, that there's always going to be something to bring to you to say, hey, man, we were talking about education and all this stuff. The vaping thing's a new thing, and now this is all over national TV this week, and I'm sure I'm not the first guy to bring this up this week, Brian.
No, not at all. And it is important for us to understand and to, really dig into. And so I can tell you that not just because of my position here with Curio, but as a health professional and as somebody that vapes, fairly often medically, we're concerned about it. And the big thing here is that we just don't know what the issue is. It looks like it could be a couple of different things. Number one is it looks like the issue could be additives that are being put into, some of these vape cartridges. And so there are certain additives that sometimes get used by certain manufacturers, either as a cutting agent or whatever, sometimes even just flavors. So from that perspective, I know that the vapes that are made by Curio don't have any additives in it. Any of the oil that's in that vape cartridge is just cannabinoids and terpenes. It's stuff that
Now, those are the ones your company manufactures. What about the other ones you would stock that are... look, this is a new industry, right? And I guess that is what puts the fear into people. And to your point, everyone takes it seriously, right? I mean, like,
Yeah.
we talk
Yeah,
about the
we do.
NFL taking CTE seriously or anything we should be taking seriously. I mean, when it's an issue, it should be taken and it should be discussed, and we're
Yeah,
discussing it,
yeah,
right?
yeah, no question about it. And so, like I said, we just don't know yet what the actual issue is. The one common factor, and I read reports, and it's hard sometimes because when you read a report that comes from the Washington Post or the Baltimore Sun or the New York Times or whatever, it's somebody's interpretation of what they're reading in medical literature. And so we go to the medical literature because we want to understand exactly what's happening. And it doesn't seem like there's a lot of information. There's no information about what is actually causing the problem. The idea that it could be an additive, and I've seen that there's a derivative or something that comes from vitamin E called vitamin E acetate that may be the issue. The one common factor that seems to be the case with all of these serious injuries and/or deaths, and I think it's 5 or 6 right now, is that they seem to all be coming from vapes that are coming from the black market one way or another. They're not vapes that are coming from, registered, licensed dispensaries, certainly not in Maryland. And so in Maryland, when you're getting a vape that's made by one of the manufacturers that's licensed and registered to be able to make them here, there's certain testing that's required.
In the same way, when you were a pharmacist and somebody came in, you're giving them legitimate things. I mean,
Right.
I don't think there's any doubt about this. The state has been tougher on the cannabis industry, as it should be, in the regulations and figuring all this out than probably anything, right? This hasn't been just something willy-nilly that's come onto the market here over the last 10, 15 years.
No, I come from the pharmacy world, as you know, and this industry, the cannabis industry, is regulated much more than even the pharmacy world is, as far as delivery and testing and all that sort of stuff. And so, I'm confident that that what the issue is will be discovered. There's another potential issue that some people have pointed to as that maybe could be related to this, and that is the use of cheaper cartridges. And so the higher quality actual cartridges come from China, and because of the tariffs that have been happening in the political world, there are some people who seem to be using cheaper cartridges where they don't have to pay that tariff, and that may be part of the issue as well. And again, I can't speak for other companies.
Well, it's a 5-day-old story, like literally, right? I mean, so we...
Well, yeah, that's another issue here, is that it really isn't a 5-day-old story. This, seems to be have been happening, and it just kind of caught fire as far as the news goes. But I don't think that these are all recent events. These are events that have happened over the past months, and it just seems to be that it caught somebody's attention, and rightfully so. I mean, these are things that we need to look into. So here's the question: is it safe to vape? It's hard to answer that question because we don't know what the problem is yet. I can tell you that there certainly are alternatives, and one of the things that I love to talk to my patients about is actually vaping the flower. And so instead of using a concentrated oil, you actually use the flower and you put that into an implement where you can then vaporize it instead of incinerate it. And when you do that, you're not burning an organic matter, creating potential carcinogens. And so my belief is that vaping flower is probably the purest way to use this medicine and to get the full effect of what nature is providing to you with that medicine. And there are little gizmos that you can use that run from $100 to $400 or $500 to be able to vaporize flower. And so that certainly is an option. And that being said, there are a ton of other options. There are capsules, there are tablets, there are tinctures, there are lozenges, there are gummies or medical chews, there are topical products. And so there are a ton of options that are available for people that are concerned about the vaping aspect of things.
He is Brian Sanderoff. He is Curio Wellness. I will be out there from 3 until 5 in the front of the house where all the education happens. There's a whole education room. There's a spa. Hey, I see yoga for everyone. Yoga and acupuncture workshop coming up on the 23rd. It depends on the Ravens' record and, how the trip to Kansas City goes, but I might need a little acupuncture on Monday the 23rd.
Hopefully that's because of the hangover from the celebration of the big win on
I'm going to need my chakras aligned in some way here. I mean, hey, it has been fun, right? I mean, it's not like we're doing Purple Friday when it's not 59-10 and we're feeling good about things. And maybe the second worst team in the NFL, the Arizona Cardinals, coming in here this week. It's it's fun being a Ravens fan right now, and I'm sure in your store, on your Facebook, in your world, where I've been going, and live shows and the stuff we're doing everywhere, people are excited about the Ravens, and that's good to see because it's been a little sports drought here for a period of time, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. Even though we made the playoffs last year, I understand. And the truth.
No, I mean the drought. Like the last 8 months, we've had nothing to win.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, even the Terps are doing well. You're an old Terp too, so I know how much you love that.
That's unbelievable, right?
We're doing a lot of winning here lately.
There is a lot of winning, and it is something to be excited about. I'll tell you, from watching that game, a couple things to be impressed with. Unfortunately, I think our MO in the past have been that we played down to our competition, and that certainly didn't happen on Sunday. We did exactly what we were supposed to do, almost Belichick-like even with the fake punt. Although I believe that play was designed to get a yard and a half, not 50 yards. He just kind of broke through the line there. But I think it's really good to see. I'll also tell you that I am excited that Judon and Peanut are all over that field. Those guys' motors were just unbelievable on Sunday.
Well, I thought the challenge, and I've talked about this all week, and I wrote about it at WNST.net, not as a headline, because obviously Lamar Jackson's the headline, right? But to me, the byline and the storyline was defense, the game was won, right? It's very easy to go out there and say it's 94 degrees. They made it fun, and I think Ryan Fitzpatrick made it fun for them because they weren't going to turtle up down 28-0 or 35-3. Fitzpatrick was going to come out and challenge them, three downs at a time, and go over top and throw the ball in ways that, you don't get on the backfield against Nick Foles. And certainly none of these guys were even on the field most of the time during the preseason, right? So seeing the live bullets and whatever that represented when you got a 4-touchdown lead, it allowed the defense to go play a little bit. And it got Jimmy Smith hurt, right? But in the end, the defense had to play a little bit on a hot day. And then the backups got to come in. It was a little bit more like another preseason game, and it's 59-10, and we got to kick the ball and run the ball and bobble the ball and whatever mistakes were made. And it wasn't a flawless game, but it was a game where you really, if you're trying to take a young team, a gelling team, where Earl Thomas and Mark Ingram are in their career, and sort of put it together to have everybody feeling good about whatever's – because, hey, Ray Lewis isn't running out of the tunnel Sunday. Joe Flacco's not running out of the tunnel on Sunday. Terrell Suggs isn't running. I mean, what's running out of the tunnel on Sunday for all of us in this new generation is Lamar Jackson's going to run out of that tunnel, and he's going to become the new guy. And in weeks when he throws the ball well and runs the ball a little, he's going to get to live another day. And weeks when he's going to have to go run around 16, 18, or 20 times, he's not, if he doesn't get injured, he's going to wake up real sore on Tuesday morning. And there are not going to be a whole lot of weeks in this league where you're going to win 59-10. So even if the other team's the JV, and they were, I'm going to celebrate that, Bri,
No question. It couldn't have been a better start to the season. On the road, that kind of win, throwing the ball downfield, not underthrowing any of his receivers. I mean, it was just sweet all the way around.
Brian Sanderoff is my pal. We've known each other for going on 3 decades. He is out of Curio Wellness. I will be out of Curio Wellness. And if for nothing else, if you don't want to stop by and say hello, you're not interested in the holistics, you're not interested in the acupuncture, the spa, the cannabis, any of the things you can learn over there, come for the cupcakes, right?
Oh, absolutely. No question about that. We made sure we did that. Hey, so a couple classes I want to highlight, if I can, real quickly.
Please do.
So tonight we have a class, and it's not too late to come to that as well. One of the things from a holistic perspective that we notice is that when there's a change of season, it can affect us in ways that we don't understand. And right now we are transitioning from summer to fall.
Even if it's 94 degrees, by the way, which is crazy, right?
Exactly.
But, yeah.
So Rebecca King, who is the acupuncturist who sees patients here at Curio, and myself are doing a talk tonight about that exact transition. On Saturday, this is one that I don't think is on our schedule because it's not necessarily a Curio thing, but Dr. Carrie Hempel and myself are doing a talk in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. So it's a 3-hour workshop that's entitled Cannabis and Man, Coevolution and Sacred Connection. And what we're doing is talking about this plant in more of a energetic and spiritual perspective about how how the plant has evolved along with man, and how the plant wouldn't be where it is today and man wouldn't be where it is today as far as their evolution goes without the influence of the other. It's a really cool concept.
Well, the history of cannabis in America is just, I mean, there are courses taught, right? Literally, right? About the eradication. We've talked about all the reefer madness stuff from 100 years ago, but then getting back to like the real history of everything, not any stigmas attached to it or what Richard Nixon did to it or whatever, right? But literally, there's a whole story to be told about hemp and about everything, right?
Yeah, there is. And so one of the activities, so this is an experiential, workshop. And so one of the activities that we're going to do is take people through a guided meditation from the dawn of time and sort of the beginning of that relationship between cannabis and man, and take us through these times today and then into the future. And one of the things that's really interesting is to point out, and we will do this, what has been the result health-wise for our society over this 80 or 90-year prohibition of cannabis that started back in the 30s, and how that's affected health and maybe partly responsible for where we are today with our ill health and, in sort of modern society. And so it's a really cool concept if people are interested.
Are you webcasting it? Like, I mean, is there, you said it, you're doing a long format of a thing. That'd be kind of an interesting video that, you can't make it out to Berkeley Springs, right?
Right. It will be recorded. It won't be webcast, but it will be recorded where then we'll be able to do something with that. And so if people are interested in signing up for that, they can go to transitiontalks.org. That's an organization that puts on talks like this in Berkeley Springs. And Berkeley Springs is a cool place. It's a great day trip.
Hold on. I want to look this up. Well, transitiontalks.org. And that way. Oh, look at that good-looking guy, Dr. Brian Sanderoff, right there on the front. Look at that.
Hey, look at that good-looking girl. Hold
on. Oh, she's down below. I mean, how are you above the fold?
I don't know how that happened.
Who put this thing here together? There's a whole bunch of information here about all sorts of stuff. So this is kind of neat. There's a whole website here of it's a series. Like literally, this goes on into 2020. I like it.
Yeah. It's a cool organization, and they put on these future thinking sort of talks. In
TED Talks, kind of, sort of, right? A little bit?
Yep.
Hey, man, anything that makes me smarter, that's why I hang out with you, right? Hey, I'll see you on Friday. We'll be wearing purple. It's Purple Friday. Brian Sanderoff from Curio Wellness and CurioWellness.com. He's been my pal for a couple decades. I'll be with him from 3 until 5. He said cupcakes. He said purple T-shirts. We said Purple Friday. So we'll see you out at Curio Wellness. Take care, Brian.
Hey, you too, Ness. Thanks, man.
You got it. Brian Sanderoff can be found out there at Curio Wellness and CurioWellness.com. You can find me out in the buyatoyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. We got so much going on. We got Nick Boyle up at Adams Jeep on the 30th. Note that we've got Baltimore Positive coming down the pipe next week. We are at Fadley's with Baltimore City Council President Brandon Scott. Really looking forward to that. The whole schedule's up. Ron Shapiro's up. Reverend Al Hathaway was an incredible conversation. If you haven't heard it at WNST, it's in the buyatoyota.com audio vault, but at baltimorepositive.com as well. Hey, get a lot of feedback on the new WNST morning newspaper. That's all brought to you by Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com. A new format, Baltimore Positive, all of our audio in there, all the Luke's blogs in there, whole sections in there now, and all brought to you by all of our incredible sponsors. Appreciate y'all staying through the breaks when you do, and coming back as often as you do to watch me drink out of my Pizza John's cup. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.